Well, you're possibly wondering why a gaming channel has decided to do a video essay. Wonder no further. I got the answer for you right here. We don't know ourselves.
Well, to get started off, let's define what immersion is for those who may not know. Immersion is a process by which a media's element entices a person to suspend their disbelief and accept what they are viewing on a screen or a page as your reality. Or in layman's terms, how easily a piece of media can suck you into its world and make you feel for the world or character you're playing as. Well, with that introduction out of the way, let's get into the video. Interactivity helps players to experience the game, and better experience creates deeper immersion. By adding interactivity into a game, a developer immerses a player into a fantasy world that separates the real world from the game world. A game that pulls off interactivity perfectly would be the recent released Batman Arkham Shadow, or The Shadow as I'll be referring to it. In this game, you take on the role of a younger Batman in pursuit of the Rat King. Notoriously, Batman has always been well equipped with a variety of gadgets to assist with any struggles along the way. This was the same in the previous Arkham games, where in Arkham Asylum, City and Origins, the gadgets were accessed via different combinations on the D-pad, with the most recent addition to the series before Shadow, Arkham Knight, opting to have a weapon wheel more akin to the likes of GTA 5. The thing is, all these games were completely flat screen, with Shadow being the first VR addition. Camouflage, the developers, had to get creative with the way the gadgets were now accessed. The easiest answer and most obvious was to pull from Knight and other VR games like Half-Life Alyx and the Vertigo duology, and place the gadgets on a weapon wheel tied to one button. However, this greatly impacts players' immersion with them being pulled out of the gameplay just to choose their next gadget. Because of this, Camouflage decided to go for the less conventional route and remove any menus needed to access the gadgets, instead of placing them in various areas across Batman's and in turn the player's body, requiring them to move their hand to the designated location, then press grip to equip the gadget. An example of this would be if a player wanted to throw a batarang, they would be needed to grab it off their chest, then physically throw it at the target. Also, if a player needed to grab the explosive gel, they would reach down to their left or right hip. Due to this system, players are able to remain in the action for full time, adding an extra layer of immersion to an already immersive experience. With that being said, this leads perfectly into the next segment.
Why you always in the mood? If you want, I can take you down to Whole Foods. Come on, baby, now.
What does narrative mean in immersion? Well, narrative refers to story or events that happen within a game that involves the plot, themes, character, and dialogue that offer a compelling experience. This can range from playing the story from beginning to end and doing everything it has to offer, such as Cyberpunk 2077. A game, just like many, was released like a little too early as a surprise birthday party. I don't want to go into much for those who haven't played the game as I may spoil it, but here's the basic rundown. You play as V, and from the beginning of the story are given 3 options to start the game off as: a nomad, street kid, and a corpo. Choosing one of these options will vastly change your game via dialogue and way you interact with others depending on how you start the story. And the only thing I'm going to spoil is your goal, and that is to just survive and do everything in your power to ensure that. The game has an amazing story that is sadly outdone by the DLC. Fight me on that. Speaking of which, get the DLC. The story can also be short and sweet. Why, thank goodness you're here. A game made by Coldsucker. We play as a salesman that's been tasked to go to Barnsworth to do a task. The game is only 2.5 hours long. Do with that information as you may, as you go around helping people of Barnsworth from different tasks, ranging from helping a chick run up again and helping a kid get his milk. It's a solid experience all round, with great jokes along the way that really make it immersive. This is also done by characters who also interact with you and how you interact with them as well within the world. As a character, if you were to smack him in the ass, you're close on his shop, and if you keep doing this, he slowly starts to enjoy this. This is not a joke, I'm not making this up, but the clip right here.
Ooh, feels good. Ooh, don't stop. That's enough now.
And this can also be one of my favorite types of narratives and goals, a simulator game.
What the
These games usually focus on one aspect in the simulator world, and my favorite genre within that is vehicle simulation. This can range from controlling vehicles such as cars and boats to planes and jets. These simulator games usually give you one goal: make money, win, or complete tasks. The highly immersive gameplay mixed with the goal can lead to an experience that makes hours feel like seconds, and trust me, I know that experience quite well. And last but not least, it can also be speedrunning, as that shows that you're willing to put in the blood, sweat, and tears and hours into perfecting a game second by second.
World design has always been one of the most essential parts of gaming. Solid world design helps create a more immersive experience for the player, as when it is done correctly, exploration should feel as if you are actually a part of the world in that time period. With players quickly getting drawn and exploring the available area with a feeling of being a part of something bigger. A game that I personally think has stellar world design is Batman Arkham City. Now, before you start to think it's an essay about the Arkham series, Arkham City's map design is simply almost perfect for everything you could ever want. For some background, following the events of Arkham Asylum, Hugo Strange, who was previously the chief psychiatrist, has now taken charge of a sectioned off part of Gotham, which has been converted into a super prison for the most deranged and despicable criminals. Also, anybody who opposes Strange's views. The map is designed in a horseshoe shape with Wonder Tower, Hugo Strange's base of operations, at the centre of the chaos, overlooking every single part of the map. Throughout the entire city, there are various landmarks that help you build familiarity with areas of the map. The most important landmarks in the game are the following: the Ace Chemicals building, where you first get to suit up as Batman after scaling the building without any tools and plenty of words exchanged with Alfred. The GCPD building, in which arguably the greatest mission of the game, if not one of the greatest missions in gaming history, takes place. You face off against Mr. Freeze after he betrays Batman, leading to one of the most heavily regarded boss battles of all time. The Steel Mill, where you visit multiple occasions throughout the game, with the most notable visit being the time where Joker stages his own death in order to get the jump on Batman, knocking him out and injecting him with his own blood, which begins to slowly poison Batman throughout the entire game, even leading into Arkham Knight, the sequel. The Museum, where you spend a little while chasing down the Penguin, even having your first encounter with Mr. Freeze, who has been previously taken captive by the Penguin. This eventually results in a boss fight with Solomon Grundy before Batman defeats him and then finally takes down the Penguin. And the final landmark I want to talk about is the previously mentioned Wonder Tower, Hugo Strange's base of operations, and where one of the final missions of the games includes climbing the tower to confront Strange. However, this proves quite the challenge as he refuses to go down without a fight, sending all his resources out to apprehend Batman, culminating in the hardest stealth section in the game, where the finale finally starts. Each one of these landmarks helps players navigate the map without having to go to a menu each time they get lost. For instance, when you start getting to the later hours of your playthrough, you'll be able to recognise where you are just by looking around for the previously mentioned landmarks and where you are in relation to Wonder Tower.
Dearly beloved,
This is one of the most important foundations that comes to any good immersive experience, personally speaking, and can really make or break an experience. You'll be surprised just how many emotions can be carried through just sound itself in any form of media. And what makes a good sound design, you ask? Well, that comes down to the 5 elements of sound design. These are dialogue, sound effects, music, ambience, and foley. Are the words spoken by an individual or group of people to convey information, emotions, or character development. This usually comes in the form of good audio balance, something this channel not good at.
Oh my god, I've just flashed myself,
As this helps deliver any emotional impact clearly. A great example would be the final scene, major spoiler warnings before I carry on, like major spoiler warnings, and I forgot to put that in there, ends in the Ghost of Tsushima between Jin and his uncle. This dialogue begins at the training ground Jin was trained by his uncle.
I will miss this.
So will I. The Shogun has declared you a traitor.
He ordered you to kill me.
The ghost was an outlaw. He taught our people to defy their leaders.
To defend themselves.
With poison, a gift you gave to our enemy.
I had to stop you from throwing away our people's lives.
You have no honor.
And you are a slave to it.
You are my son.
This is after the events of the story where his uncle has been ordered to kill Jin as decreed by the shogun, due to him taking on the mantle of the ghost and outlawed to does not follow the honor of a samurai when it comes to killing his enemies. The dialogue becomes heated between them, leading to this eventual scene in dialogue started by his uncle. The dialogue you have seen has just shown the emotional impact of the words, as Jin uncle has said to him, "You have no honor," as he has raised Jin as his own son, treating him honor along the way, and Jin simply responds in kind, "You are a slave to it," showing that he, after all the battle has been with the Mongols, he has decided to throw it away for a better future. Are artificial or recorded sounds that are used to enhance realism and the atmosphere of a scene. These can be natural, such as the wind blowing through the breeze, water rushing down a stream. They can also be abstract, like a spaceship or space weapons used in combat. My personal favorite sound effects are oversized robots going at it against oversized monsters, or some good old-fashioned robot on robot action. Transformers has one of the best robot sound designs in my opinion, especially the Bayverse Transformer movies. Even if they may vary in quality, they never lack in sound effects. I mean, just listen to this. And just being able to hear and envision the working parts moving together, just the sound alone carried a lot of effect. Now imagine the exact same scene without the sound. Not so appealing, is it? See how much less impact that carried alone without the sound effects? And don't forget about the robot and robot action within this movie. I mean, just look at that.
Hide, Sam!
I don't believe I'll have to go into how much impact music can carry into a scene and how easily it can evoke an emotion based on the scene alone. It can range from a subtle background noise to an emotional ballad meant to move you. A good example of this, in my opinion, would be Dead Stranding. One of the missions requires you to carry your mother's corpse to a crematorium, and along the way, the song Bones by Lou Rawls plays in the background, adding an emotional impact to you carrying the corpse, and also ties into the game. Are the background sounds that help to create a sense of environment that you are in. These sounds range from the breeze to the air to the vicious thunderstorms. This can also be specific to the location or the character. For example, waves smashing against the side of the boat when at sea. This plays a crucial role in immersion as it helps set the tone and provides context for the environment that the character is in. A good example of this would be in Red Dead Redemption 2, as it has a great ambiance, ranging from the frozen peaks and the scenic route along the paths as you're traveling to your destination. Another great game that does this quite well is Sea of Thieves when it comes to sailing.
Finally, we're almost at the end. To wrap everything up, I'd like to give my top 3 games for being fully immersed, giving one reason why I think they stand out amongst the sea of other games. Starting at the bottom of the list and working my way up to my favourite, in third place is Cyberpunk 2077. From the moment you first boot up Cyberpunk, you are immediately thrown into the game's detailed character creation system. Once you've spent who knows how long perfecting your character, you are given the option to choose your life path, with the three options being Nomad, Street Kid and Corpo. Each life path comes with its specialised introduction with extra dialogue choices throughout the whole game. For example, I won't get into spoilers, but if you were to pick the Nomad life path and then play through the entire game till you reach the final mission, one of the endings available is escaping Night City for good. In order to do this, players need to cross the bridge and then cross the border. By doing this, you are joined by a fellow Nomad, giving you the option to mention how the bridge used to be, a famed Aldecado's tunnel. Now, moving on to my second game, I've decided to go with Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. KCD1 is a vastly different game from the rest of my list. There are obvious similarities between them all, with them all being RPGs, but whereas in both other games you can create your own character, in KCD1 you are forced to play a singular character. Coincidentally, this is where I believe the game's biggest strength lies. You are Henry Iscallet. The plot follows Henry, a son of a blacksmith who has zero combat experience. When his hometown is raided, his whole life changes. Together, the player and Henry are of the same knowledge. Throughout the journey, you will both learn in tandem how to fight and make it around 1403 Bohemia. In combat, you won't magically be able to defeat even the weakest of bandits. However, over your journey, you'll get stronger, learning how to effectively wield the sword, eventually to a point where you can defend and eventually defeat multiple people at once in combat. For my final game, I've decided to go with the previously mentioned Baldur's Gate 3. The biggest strength I could possibly say about it would obviously be the game's allowance of player expression and free will. As I have already mentioned it, the runner-up would have to be build variety. Similar to Cyberpunk, players are immediately placed into the character creation menu. Unlike Cyberpunk, once you have finalised your character design, you are given the choice of your class. In the game, there are 12 classes with 3 subclasses each, totaling up to 46 different options for you to choose from. This choice is extremely important as which class you choose will heavily dictate the way you play the game.
Bring back the fucking Quaaludes! You can take all of...
And are you wondering what I believe is the most immersive games that I've ever played? Well, they will be in no particular order: Death Stranding, Subnautica, and Euro and American Truck Simulator. You're possibly wondering, why Death Stranding? Isn't it just a walking simulator? You roleplay as Amazon delivery driver. Yes, and yes, it is. But it's one of the most immersive games I've ever played, from the start of the game to the end. The main reason I'll say it was immersive was due to a compelling story, even as a bit confusing at the start and following twists and turns. And also the game mechanics that was given to deliver each package, ranging from the old reliable climbing anchor and ladder to the greatest item in the game, and you can fight me on that, the support skeleton. I highly recommend the long range ones. Trust me, you're gonna need it. The second and most important reason, which is simply playing the game and delivering one parcel at a time, being given the freedom to take any ride I please and any equipment, ranging from what I like to call the Death Forest to the cold mountains near the Heart Lake. This truly immersed me in a world that was ravaged by the Death Stranding. And the most important reason why I found the game immersive was BB and Sam's relationship. I know some of you may not agree with me, but genuinely watching Sam and BB grow together and form a deeper bond was truly the icing on top of the cake for me. I will be going to spoilers, so please skip to this time to avoid a major spoiler. Especially the ending. After playing for so long with the two of them, it was watching Sam struggle to keep BB alive after what had happened. The music playing as Sam tries desperately to get BB to respond, holding his hand and trying his hardest. It's also carried by the emotional song that plays, which is BB's theme. This scene almost nearly had me in tears. Hoping and wishing with Sam that BB shows any signs of life. I'm leaving a big sigh as BB lets a cry. This nearly had me in tears. For my second game, that would be Subnautica, a survival game that involves a pilot Ryle surviving the space station crashing to an alien planet. This game involves you swimming, collecting resources and building your way to get out of that planet. The game environment is set underwater with a variety of locations from the shallow blue waters to the deep dark depths. I sadly could not finish the game as the journey made me insecure at every corner in the deep and dark environment, especially at night time. I would never go out just for the fear of what's lurking, but also the distant draw from exploring the more dangerous areas of the sea that left me with even more anxiety, as I would never actually meet them but hear them. adding to the fear even more, as they would know where I am and I do not. And finally, a double whammy, American and Euro Truck Simulator. It's in the title. It's a game where you operate and run a truck company. You'll be delivering cargo from point A to point B across Europe and America. The reason I'll say is immersive will be the game, allowing you to pick and choose jobs and drive trucks in a highly immersive truck driving sim, with a range of trucks that you can buy, and honestly, I would say this could apply to any simulator games, but deep down I know I can't describe why this game is truly immersive for me. At best, if anyone were to ask me why I find it like that, the best I can muster up is just, I like the game. And I think that's enough. The game can be quite beautiful at times as you're driving along your route. You'll see stunning environments ranging from the dense cities to vast farm sides. The more you deliver, the more you level up, allowing you to put more points into a variety of upgrades, picking and choosing what you specialize in. This can be from heavy cargo or fragile cargo, offering higher pay. And those will be my top 3 games that I truly believe are immersive.
Anyway, we hope you enjoyed your time with us, and
If you like what you watch, please do like, subscribe, and turn the notification bell, and leave any comments down below in the comment section. Thank you, we'll see you again.